Oh, got it.
I think we're live. Hello, everyone. I'm Sam Foran from the Committee of 70. Today, we are continuing our Studio C70 student candidate interview series. We're excited to be joined today by Colleen Osborne, Democratic nominee for municipal judge. Now I'm going to turn it over to Charlie McGeehan and his students at the Academy at Palumbo, who will be running today's interview.
Hi, good morning. This is Charlie McGeehan, teacher at the Academy at Palumbo. We're so excited to be joined by Ms. Osborne this morning. We have some students who have prepared questions. We're going to begin with a speed round of quicker questions, some serious, some less so. And then we're going to dive into our questions that we came up with based on research. So I'm going to turn it over to our first student who's going to ask our speed round questions.
Awesome.
All right, hello. The first question, what is your favorite color?
Yellow. That was an easy one.
All right, second, what is your favorite horror movie?
Sixth Sense, but that's not really horror, but.
All right, where would you most like to travel?
I'm sorry?
Where would you like to travel the most?
Oh, where do I, the Jersey Shore.
Do you idolize Judge Judy?
Oh my God. Hilarious. I don't know that I idolize her, but she's certainly entertaining.
Was anyone in your family a lawyer?
No, I'm the first.
Do you like being a lawyer?
I do, I love it.
Is there anyone who has been in your role model for you in this path?
Yes, I've had a few. Certainly, lawyers who have become judges or politicians throughout my career have, kind of guided me on just keep doing the right thing for the right reason, and things should shake out.
What was your dream job growing up?
To be a prosecutor.
What's the most enjoyable part of your job?
Well, as far as when I was a prosecutor, I feel like the most enjoyable part was getting hugs from victims who felt like they had their day in court and someone fought for them. And I hope that my job as a judge will be, making sure everyone had a day in court, their fair shake.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your questions.
Hi, I'm Hong. I'll be asking you some general questions. For the first one, what makes you choose to run to be a judge for the municipal court rather than a different court?
Sure. So I'm sure your class knows way more than most 12th graders, but I'll just explain what municipal court is. Municipal court is the lowest court in Philadelphia. So it's like misdemeanor trials, and so that's like low level crimes, and then it's felony, like the first hearing for felonies, more serious crimes. And as someone who has been in municipal court as a lawyer, we need good judges there, because that is the first place that most people encounter the justice system. So, they want to make sure that people have faith in the system and feel like it works. So that's why I'm running for municipal court.
Great, thank you for answering that.
Yeah.
The next question, how would you say you differentiate from the other candidates you're running against?
Sure. So I was a prosecutor for 13 years. And so what a prosecutor is they take the crime. And again, I'm sure you guys know this, but I don't know that I knew it in 12th grade. So a prosecutor takes the alleged crimes, and we present it to a judge or a jury. So we represent the state, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. But usually, people think we represent the victims and those who had crimes committed against them. So I prosecuted crimes against women and children. So mostly family violence and that type of thing. But I'm also a major in the United States Army Reserve. So I was a defense attorney for soldiers who were in trouble. And so because I've been on both sides, like prosecuting and defending, I feel like I can give both sides a fair shake since I've advocated for both sides.
The next question is a little long and it kind of ties back to your answer from the previous question. So based on our research, most of what you are passionate about and have experience with are relating to helping children and women. However, as a judge of the court, if elected, you are bound to hear a variety of cases. So again, if elected, how would you manage those cases? Will your level of empathy be the same?
Yes, so that was mainly my focus when I was a trial attorney, crimes against women and children. But as a judge, I will hear cases, drug cases and robbery cases and, small claims, which is like, almost like fights about money under $12,000 and that type of thing. So I have, when I defended soldiers, I defended them against all sorts of cases. So yes, my empathy level will be the same across the board because you have to, there's not just two sides to every story. There's about 5 sides to every story. So that's my job, is to find the truth.
Thank you.
Hello. My name is Anthony, and I'll be asking questions about your military experience and how that was. So my first question was how is your experience in the military? What type of training did you do? And did you attend any combats or fights?
Okay, so I joined the Army when I was 30. I was a little bit of a late bloomer. So I had just started dating my husband and I had to go to boot camp, which is in Fort Benning, Georgia. So boot camp is, you hike through the woods and do all this physical training, and it's something that I've never experienced before. It was definitely one of the hardest things I've gone through, boot camp. And then you go to, because I'm a lawyer in the Army, you go to basically law school for Army lawyers for a couple months. Then I went to do legal assistance for soldiers. So soldiers who weren't necessarily in trouble with anything, but I helped soldiers who were either going through a divorce or going bankrupt or that type of thing. And then I was a defense attorney for soldiers, which I've talked about. And now I am basically a lawyer for, I'm in the law department for a general, which is one of the highest people in the Army. And I advise the female general on different things about, just how she runs her command. But I have never been deployed, which I think you mean have I ever fought in combat? No, I haven't. Which, I am grateful that I've never had to do that because, some of the soldiers who go, they go they go abroad and they leave their families at home, and a lot of them have children, and it's very hard. So I'm grateful for their service.
Thank you. My next question was that was there any time or case where you let your emotions take over your rational thinking?
Yes, I think that there have been times where I have gotten emotionally involved in a case, for sure. I'm going to talk about a sad case, but there was a child who was in foster care in Philadelphia, and I think, he kind of slipped through the cracks a little bit, and no one really took care of him. And he ultimately died, and I was distraught. I was distraught, and we were arresting some people for that. And I needed to, pray and talk to those I trusted to make sure I did the right thing legally and ethically and didn't make my emotions take over. But I was definitely emotionally involved. It's hard not to be. But when you are in court, you have to try to put those aside and do the right thing.
Okay, so for my last question, we did some prior research about you being in the Judge Advocates General Court, or
Okay.
JAG for
Mhm.
short. So how would that experience translate for you becoming a judge for the municipal court, and how is it different?
Sure. Okay. So, like I said, I am a lawyer in the Army. So, a lot of what I do is right now, like I said, I advise my commander on things and I help them make decisions. But now I'm going to be making the decision. So I'm going to have the responsibility if I'm elected. I'm going to make the decision of either this person owes this amount of money, or this person is not guilty of a crime or guilty of a crime, and if they are guilty, what their sentence will be. And so I'm going to be the one, my name is going to be on it. So all of the, it's on me, the buck stops here. So I will be making the decisions, as opposed to like helping people make the decisions. But I think I'm ready for it.
All right, that's all I have for you today.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great questions. Yeah.
Hi, Ms. Osborne. It's nice to meet you. My name is Rosa, and I'm going to be asking you specific questions. So my
Okay.
first question is, do you believe there's a need for armed officers during evictions? And if so, to what extent should they be armed?
Oh gosh, that's a really good question. I would hope that armed officers are not needed during evictions. The it's usually an emotional situation, because those who are getting evicted from their homes, they don't know necessarily where they have to go or where they can go, and they need support. So no, I don't think that is, I would hope that is not necessary. I don't know enough about evictions to say whether it's necessary to protect those who are doing the evicting. So I don't want to comment on that policy, but evicting a family or someone is very difficult. And on the flip side, there are landlords who use that rent money to support their own families. So they need to make money to support their families. So they have a place to live and eat. And so it's a very difficult situation. So while I hope I hope they don't need armed people for evictions, I just don't know enough about the actual eviction process to say.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
My second question is that, so we know that you mainly do cases that revolve around women and children. How do you feel about ruling in eviction cases that involve them?
It's emotional. I currently represent someone who is going through, her landlord is trying to kick her out, and she has nowhere else to go. She's embarrassed to tell her family for multiple reasons. I said, why don't you, we were looking at other options and relying on family, and she can't rely on family at the moment. And she has children. And so we are working with the landlord to try to get her back in the, back up to where she's not facing eviction. So it's very emotional. And I think that there needs to be a lot of services in place. And yeah, it's hard.
Thank you.
Sure. Great questions.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Hong again. This time I came back with two questions that I did not get to ask you earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, previously, during our speed round, you mentioned how you were the first in your family to become a lawyer.
Mhm.
So I want to ask why you chose to pursue that career.
Sure. So I feel like when I was probably your age, not that I necessarily knew what I wanted to do, but I felt like I was always involved in service activities and part of different groups that provided services, and I felt like I wanted to fight for the underdog. So I, went to school, and my major was English, so like I thought I was going to be like a teacher, but then ultimately I applied to law school and loved it. So I don't look back, I don't regret it, but I know some people take like a couple years off from college in between law school to make sure that that's what they want to do. But I'm happy I went through with it.
Great. Sorry, I blanked out.
That's okay. Take your time. Do you want me to fill the time while you think of
No,
it?
no, I got it. I got
Okay.
it. Your passion to help children and women, did that start back when you were in law school or during like your years as you like learn more about the city and your work?
Yeah, so honestly, I feel like when I was, again, I keep saying like when I was your age, or like when I was in high school, I babysat all the time. And kids are some of the most vulnerable people in our community because they rely so heavily on the adults in their life. And so I think I just always, I'm a mother now. I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. And I just, no, I think it started when I was younger. I don't think it necessarily, yeah. So just from babysitting, and I was a lifeguard, and, I just always liked kids.
Thank you. That was so great.
So those are all the formally prepared questions we have. I will check in with everybody and see if we have any last questions remaining, because I know we have a little bit of time left. But while I'm doing that, I wanted to give you any opportunity. I don't know if there's anything that you wanted to add or anything that you feel like we haven't hit on yet that you'd like to mention. And then they have another question or two.
Yeah, I just, I noticed that, I was just going to say, Mr. McGeehan, are you the mock trial coach? Is that what I see your sweatshirt?
I am indeed the mock trial coach here.
Okay, so I will say, I think, I just want to tell your students, I was the mock trial coach at my high school. And I just think, I know it's kind of like cliche to say, but truly, that your students can be anything that they want to be, and I just think if you see it, then you can be it. And I just think, maybe hopefully if I win in November, you guys can come to the courtroom and see things. And I just I think the more opportunity to see things when you actually see it in real life, you realize that you can do that too, that you can also do it. So I know that's like kind of not the best motivation, but I think that your students can be anything. And it's so impressive that they are doing this questionnaire and interview. I think that's awesome.
The one question I did want to add, and I know this is a question this is like an issue that I think a lot of our students are passionate about right now, that I know will not directly, does not necessarily directly interact with your role, but they are curious to know if you have any thoughts that you want to share about the proposed arena near Chinatown.
Oh my gosh. You know what? So I can't really say, because is that what all your judicial candidates say? Probably. I don't know if you've asked other judicial
We haven't interviewed a judicial candidate. Yesterday we interviewed a city council candidate. So obviously that's
did
different.
you?
But
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I will say, as a judicial candidate, I can't say, which is kind of like a cop out, but we are not allowed to talk about like politics, and we can't really say like what we would do on a case if you know, a certain group brought it to court or that type of thing. I just hope that the city does the right thing and takes care of everyone involved. Yeah, so that's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this may fall in the same category. But we've also talked a bit about the Eddie Arizari case. And I know that was ultimately thrown out in the municipal court, and the answer may end up being the same for that one. But we were also curious to know your thoughts, if you had any thoughts that you could share on that case and how it was decided.
I cannot share any thoughts on it, but I can't. But I will say, didn't they appeal, the DA's office appeal? And I don't
I
know
believe
what
it's been appealed, correct? Yes.
I don't know what the ruling was. Have they ruled yet?
I don't
Yeah.
think there's been a current ruling.
Okay. I can't say. I just, you know, I was hopeful that the Phillies would bring the city back together. and then we suffered a loss last night. So no, I can't say, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Mhm.
Yeah, and anybody else? One more. They're curious, do you have any future plans? Would you consider in the future running for another court, a higher court? Obviously, that could be down the line, but is that something that you would consider in the future?
That's a great question, and a question that my husband asks me all the time. So yes, I would. So municipal court is like the lowest level, and I am 39. So while I feel old, it's actually relatively young. So I feel like I have room to grow and to learn the system. I will say, is this a political class or what? So I'm new to politics. And I will just, you know, tell your students a little bit, you know, I've really enjoyed myself. I've learned so much about the city and met so many people that I wouldn't have met. Politics is very time consuming. You're away from your family and that type of thing. And I have a 2-year-old and 5-year-old. So I think if I were to run again for something, it would have to be when they were a little bit older. Which, you know, it would give me time to learn the courts, but yes, I would consider it.
Thank you. Yeah, and this class is it's a required 12th grade class. It's basically a civics class. So we do talk about government and politics and civic engagement. We have some students who take AP government. So these students are not taking AP government. They're taking this class instead. But yeah, that's what we're studying. So
Yeah.
we really appreciate you spending time with us today and engaging with all of our questions. And yeah, we appreciate the Committee of 70 for opening up this opportunity for us.
Yeah, I had a great time. Thank you so much. And I will just say that my sister and brother-in-law, their last name is McGeehan, and they have some Charlies in their family. And I was like texting them beforehand, like, oh, but I don't know if there's any relation.
Oh my gosh, what are the odds?
I know. Okay, well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, we appreciate it. But throw it back to you, Sam.
All right, well, another just incredible interview. Thank you again, students, Charlie, Colleen. Just a couple of reminders for everybody out there. Election Day in Pennsylvania is November 7th, and make sure to visit 70.org. Use your ballot tools, stay informed with all the different candidates, and tune into our upcoming sessions. We've got 3 on Monday, October 30th, with schools in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. It's very exciting, and we're looking forward to it. So thank you again, everyone, for watching. Thank you again to everyone involved, and we will see you on Monday.